All right, ThaBoxingvoice.com, live here with Daniel Jacobs, champ of the world. Daniel, man, so you started camp, you're back, you're doing a lot of sparring. You've been seeing pictures, you've been in here before, sparring with Nikita and Devin. How long has sparring started for you?
This is probably our third week. I'm not sure how long we've been sparring, but I mean, we just pushing a nice 9 rounds today. We're gonna pick it up a little bit next week. We just gradually get into 12 rounds, and we're gonna tone it back down. I feel good. This heat is helping a lot. It's getting me acclimated to the pressure, to being under certain circumstances. So I like this gym. I like where I'm at right now in my camp, and I'm looking confident and feeling strong for September 9th.
How far are you from fight weight?
Right now, I'll probably say maybe 10 pounds. I mean, we're staying hydrated. That's the thing. You got to stay hydrated in this weather. So we're drinking a lot. I got my nutritionist on board. She's in the gym with me. So everybody's where they need to be, making sure that we get to where we need to be September 9th.
Comparing you to the people that you chose to spar with, you look very big. I was having a conversation with one of your teammates here, and they were saying that you know, the Devin may be bigger in frame, but you look more brolic. What you do, you look very defined. How long have you been working out, like from the last fight till now?
Right, it's been a while. I mean, I started camp early with my strength and conditioner, so if you see the physique, that's probably why. We're just making sure we're ready, and obviously for our sparring partners, we want to make sure we get fast, young, smaller guys to use that speed and use that ring movement, that ring generalship. That's what we need. We don't need strong guys. We don't need the best top-notch guys. We just need somebody that's going to get us acclimated to Sergio Mora.
How much of your physique is genetics, and how much is it the strength and conditioning coach? Because I remember you did like a similar to a Sean Porter, how he does that feint with but he also stomps.
Right.
So you did that, but then your chest flexed, and it was like mad cuts on your chest. Yeah. I was like, yo,
I'm just a natural, I guess, athletic built guy. I don't know. My legs are skinny. I mean, I'm just a small frame, skinny frame type guy. So if I put a little bit of muscle to it, you'll see the definition. That's all it is. But I focus on I focus on my speed. I focus on my ability. I focus on my skill when we're inside the ring. How I look is irrelevant to me.
The reason I ask is because I've seen obviously the change in body, and it felt like today the style was a little different. Like maybe you were walking each sparring partner down. Is that the goal? Knowing Mora doesn't really have the power to stop you, you're trying to get him out of there, or was today just how today looked? It wasn't necessarily anything that's going to play out in the fight.
Well, obviously, like I said, we want to get guys to kind of move around a little bit more like Sergio Mora, because we know how to take on guys that come forward. We know how to take on guys going backwards, but Sergio Mora, in my opinion, is a little bit more backward boxing than he does forward. So we want to make sure we get enough sparring and mix it up as possible. These aren't my only sparring partners. These are just the ones you've seen today. But we're adding more guys. We're taking some guys out. We're mixing it in. That's how you become a whole. You get different guys and make a whole. I'm confident in my ability. I'm pretty sure September 9th is going to be another amazing show out. And I'm excited. I'm just excited to get back in the ring, most importantly.
I want to ask about the logistics of the fight. I mean, Earl Spence is going to be in Coney Island. It just seemed like maybe you should have been in Coney Island, maybe Earl in Pennsylvania. Right. Is there a reason why you're in Pennsylvania?
Boxing is a business too, you have to understand that.
Better sight for you then.
It just, you know, it's kind of hard to describe it. Like, a lot of people wouldn't really understand, but I would love to headline the Coney Island. That's, you know, I'm from Brooklyn. I'll be commentating for NBC, which is cool for me, but at the same time, you know, this is boxing, and I have fans in Pennsylvania as well. I have fans all over the world. I'm not just going to be biased and just fighting in Brooklyn because my fans are here. So I'm looking forward to giving the PA fans a great show, and hopefully we can come either back to the Barclays Center or Vegas or wherever we take it, but I'm not going to just keep myself here, especially if it financially doesn't make sense.
Absolutely, absolutely. So when you were, is Mora just a thing that you wanted to kind of? No, I mean,
no, I know what you mean.
Because he didn't accept the loss. I guess as a gentleman, right? He made it more about the leg or the injury. So is it like you just want to give him his revenge and silence him?
He just got lucky. Honestly, this is not something where Sergio Mora. It's not like that we wanted. We couldn't get those guys, and it didn't really make sense. So he's, So it's more so is we're just making this opportunity present to him because of a little bit of controversy that we had last time, and then I guess it makes sense to do it being that we have no one else at this point. And I know fans are going to be like, well, you had Triple G and you got to listen. That's another.
Well, he's not available then.
I understand that, but you know, you get criticized for every decision you make in the sport of boxing. It's no right decision. There's going to be fans who are going to criticize you. Jay, don't go crazy, Jay. I know you are. Don't go crazy, Jay.
Keep it simple.
We're going to figure this out.
You were speaking of the fans always having a say and basically always going to say that the decision was wrong. So, I mean, you got the floor.
Yeah, I mean, you know, in my opinion, sometimes there's no right decision, or you can't please everybody in the sport of boxing. This is something that, like I said before, we kind of stumbled upon. We're going to do our job. Sergio Mora is going to be 100% ready. It's still probably going to be a good fight. We're going to move on to bigger and better opposition. We tried to track BJ Saunders down. We tried to make that our next possible. We wanted to make that fight happen in what, May, April?
Yeah, that's right.
So it's not like we purposely. People think like, why is Jacob not taking advantage of the last victory, and why is Jacob's not getting back in the ring so soon? I'm getting so much criticism. It's just disgusting, but people don't understand the business aspect of boxing. So this is why, like I said before, we have this matchup. But I'm looking forward to, after this one, given the fact we get the victory, impressive victory, we move on to bigger and better opposition.
Do you think that you would be a bit vindicated, being as though Billy Joe Saunders was just kind of outed a little bit by Dan Rayfield and Golden Boy on about 4 opponents that he turned down in Stevens, Curtis?
Okay. The whole 9 yards, yeah, the whole
he
9.
turned them all
the
down.
whole 9. So I mean, that speaks for itself, you know. And the fact that we was trying to really pursue that fight, and you can't really blame me, you know what I'm saying? And then we don't have Gabe as an option. We don't have certain other. Yeah, we don't really have all those other guys as options. We have a very few short options. So people are like, well, why didn't you fight Triple G? Well, why didn't you fight this guy? It's like, yeah, it's levels to it. Still, this is not pride fighting. This is prize fighting in the same aspect. So, you know, if you're going to support me, support me. If you don't, then, you know, I do my best to win fans every day.
I would like for you to just clear one thing up.
Okay.
I would like to have my own version of that interview. It seems like to me, and that's why I want to re-ask you the question, it seems like to me your words have been screwed around or misconstrued in the sense that people are saying you said, or they'll always resort to say, well, Danny said he doesn't want Gennady till 2 years from now. Is that really what came out?
No. I mean, I said we're going to fight him in a year and a half. But that's realistically speaking, because from my standpoint, we want to fight Triple G, but it financially doesn't make sense right now. So when I say a year and a half, that means it'll get to the point, hopefully, where it can make financial sense and we can make what we're honestly supposed to make inside that ring.
Now, this seems to be the biggest topic of conversation when speaking of Gennady Golovkin. I mean, you got a guy like Alessandro Lara, stablemate of Heyman Boxing. He wants to fight him, but K2 tells me there's not enough money there. He doesn't have a market, but he has been on pay-per-view. Now, there is a market with you. You haven't been on pay-per-view. Why do you think they want Danny, but they won't take a guy like Lara?
I have no idea. That's not for me to speak. That's their side. I don't know why they don't want to accept it, but I have no comment on that.
Now, K2 also says, you know, he's been speaking with Al. They spoke on numerous things. They've already started preliminary talks with you or about you. Are you confident in that, being as though what just happened with Kelbrook, right? Like, I mean, they're giving
Am I
Kelbrook
confident in what?
that something can happen.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely confident. Like I said, it's got to be at the right time. And it's not a time as far as me getting ready. Like before, all I said was when I came back from cancer and they was trying to put me in with the top-notch guys, I was like, let me get my feet under my ground. Let me get 12 rounds. We got the 12 rounds, and then I said I'm ready for anybody. So that's where we still stand. But at this point, it still has to make financial sense. I'm not going to go in there and fight who people consider to be the top-notch guy for not top-notch money. You know what I'm saying? It's still a business. Like I said, this is prize fighting, not pride fighting.
Does it become difficult for Heyman fighters because, you know, typically you guys are well paid? So what you get, let's say, to fight whoever you fight isn't what Curtis Stevens got to fight Gennady Golovkin. You know what I mean? You make way more than Curtis Stevens fighting Gennady Golovkin. So for you to fight Golovkin for what you get normally just doesn't make sense for you or your team. Is that the problem?
I can't speak on Curtis. I can't speak on nobody other than myself. We're in a good position right now where we make pretty good money. But at the same time, when you think of mega fights, you think of Triple G, Daniel Jacobs, you think of those type of guys. Competitive, and as far as that star quality where we can be a pay-per-view. But at the same time, the numbers that we're offered now, it just doesn't make sense to me.
So there was an offer?
There was.
Disrespectful. No, you don't have to give me numbers.
We're not gonna get into that because I know how people tend to say, well, why does he want this? He just fought and made it.
Yes,
people still
you're right.
People still like, come on.
I mean, if you say he offered you $3 million, they'll say, well, you made 1.5 versus. You're right.
So
it is hard.
The issue here is that we're not afraid to fight anyone.
That's the thing, and that's I think what people. I think that's what people think. People think we're trying to cut corners. People think, no, I want Triple G. There's no way around that.
But they have to pay you. Say it. They have to pay me what I'm worth.
Period.
Okay.
Period.
Now, being as though you're Heyman, though, is a pay-per-view even an option?
I have no idea. I have no idea. That's my team, obviously, on that aspect to take control of that. But at the same time, all I do is say, okay, yeah, that makes me comfortable, and we can go in and move it. Like I said, there's going to be a point to where the BJs is going to be out the picture, maybe Canelo's if he come back and wait. Those guys are going to be out the picture, and then there's going to be two middleweights that's going to have to fight. It's going to be me and Triple G. Hopefully by that time, it'll be worth all the marbles.
Now, obviously your career was built on HBO, then you transitioned to Showtime, where they have kind of taken the back end of your career, the more popular side of your career. So are you contracted to them? Because Laura is not.
I'm not really contracted to anybody.
Okay.
I like to work with everybody, especially if it makes sense. I've been with Showtime. I'm very happy with Showtime. I've been with PBC. I've been with a lot of different networks, HBO. I'm cool with everybody. You got to understand, the boxers have no say sometimes in the business aspect as far as the networks and all this. I go with just makes sense financially for me and my family. That's it.
Well, Dre, I mean, you want to get it off your chest? I know you had a bit to say on the subject.
I've often said, and I'll keep this short and sweet, we prepare to fight everyone and anyone. Danny, who I refer lovingly to myself as my son, is one of the best middleweights on the planet. And until the best middleweights get in the ring, you won't know who is number one.
Right, exactly.
But I can guarantee you, we will be working, and our goal is to be number one. He's not afraid of anybody. He'll fight anybody. Hell, he fights me, and I'm the hardest fighter on the planet. So I'm not worried about that. Sergio Mora, my new phrase for him, Mora is less. We don't need Mora, but we're going to take care of Mora.
Right.
And this time, and a lot of people might say, well, don't say, I'm going to say it. I expect my son to stop him. And that's going to be the end of it. And then we'll move on to the bigger and better prey. Right. That's what this is all about. It's about Team Jacobs, and that's what we do.